Hi everyone, Trina here, and I thought we would continue with Origins of the Soul, and I believe this is 3.6. And where we left off was we were discussing Pythagoras and his teachings, and we just covered some of the Eleusinian mysteries and spiral of pi, golden ratio. So we will continue with the evolutionary journey of the soul. This may explain why many of us have natural affinities for certain animals, birds, cats, wolves, eagles, ravens, dragonflies, dolphins, whales, hummingbirds, or bees. Earlier in our incarnation cycles, we may have actually been one of these animals, and thus we naturally gravitate towards them. Even now when we are in human form, this can also explain our affinities with certain trees or plants or gemstones. Even in this aspect, some millions of years before, you've developed this consciousness. So you were passing in and out of these forms, experiencing different levels of creation. The cycle of birth through plant and animal form is meant to culminate in the world of men. The most advanced souls are reborn as prophets, ministrels, physicians, leaders, and from these arise as gods, highest in honor, while those of us raised to more restrictive theologies may find the idea that when we were anything other than human in a previous lifetime, this was to be a fanciful stretch of the imagination. Modern embryologists have now discovered that every human child formed in the womb morphs through various animal archetypes before ever becoming human. Is this merely a reflection of earlier stages of biological evolution? Or could it also reflect the spiritual evolution of the soul's journey? Many are inside the one. Today, we are taught that human beings are the pinnacle of God's creation. We are also told that the animals only exist to serve our needs, and thus we often treat them deplorably. We have been assured by patriarchal institutions that animals have neither feeling nor soul. But this is not true. Everything in this universe has consciousness. This is the first of the 7 Hermetic laws of wisdom, written by Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom. Everything in this universe is part of the one great soul, and thus it is alive. Paracelsus, the great Renaissance physician and philosopher, writes, "There is nothing dead in nature. Everything is organic and living, and therefore the whole world appears to be a living organism. Who can doubt that plants have feelings, when researchers now have done studies proving that they do, and they respond in positive and negative ways to music and people who take care of them? They react in strongly negative ways to people in their environment who have been violent. And what pet owner can ever doubt that animals both have feelings and thoughts? Anyone who has ever beloved a cat, a dog, a bird, a horse, knows they form friendships, loyalties, emotional bonds with those who care for them and with each other. In fact, it is the power of love itself that awakens every creature to a higher octave of vibration, quickening its spiritual evolution. Madame Blavatsky, founder of the Theosophy, speaks of this in her epic secret doctrine. Everything in the universe throughout all of its kingdoms is conscious, i.e., endowed with a consciousness of its own kind and in its own plane of perception. Plane of perception. Interesting concept there. Planes of perception. When men must remember that because we do not perceive any signs which we can recognize of consciousness, say in stones, we have no right to say that no consciousness exists there. Nature, taken in its abstract sense, cannot be unconscious, as it is an emanation of form, and thus an aspect on the modified, manifested plane of the absolute consciousness. Where is it that darling man who would presume to deny to vegetation and even to minerals as a consciousness of their own? All he can say is that this consciousness is beyond his comprehension. The Greeks agreed with her. Here is a maxim for the Greek mystery schools. Consciousness sleeps in stones, dreams in the plants, awakens in the animals, and becomes self-conscious in man. It attains the cosmic consciousness in the spiritual kingdom and omniscience in the kingdoms of the gods. Pythagoras believed that every species has a seal given to it by God. The seal given to us by God. I have heard of this, and they have told me that I have a seal, and that we all have seals. So Pythagoras believed that every species has been given to it by God a seal, and that the physical form of each species is an impression of this seal. Wow. On the wax of physical substance. Thus, every individual body is stamped with the dignity of its divinely given pattern. He said, there is one cosmos made up of everything, and one God eminent in everything, and one substance, and one law, and one logos, common to all intelligent beings, and one truth. Pythagoras believed that ultimately the human being will reach a state where he or she can cast off her gross physical nature, function in body of a spiritualized ether. This is the light body, known to the ancient adepts as the Nuri Sarup, the sparkling astral body, that many near-death experiencers discover when they emerge on the other side. Not only do they discover that they are radiant with living light, they also find that the appearance of this body can be altered at will, according to the wishes of the individual. This is why people who return from the other side often speak about meeting loved ones who now look so young and beautiful. This light body is one of our 7 subtle energy bodies, although it is the one that we will graduate to when we leave this earth. Pythagoras also believed that once we pass through this human stage of evolution, we will ascend to the realms of the immortals, where we ultimately belong. This is the loka, or the dimension of the gods. That is beautiful, and that is amazing. So, remembering his past lives. Pythagoras claimed that he remembered many of his own past lives, just as Buddha had claimed that he had remembered some 600 of his. Thus, one of his titles was Menesharides, meaning the one who remembers his own origins. Wow, that's a beautiful word. I'm going to have to learn to pronounce that correctly. Esarachites. Menasarachites. Interesting. Meaning the one who remembers his own origins. In one past life, he had been a Trojan warrior, killed. One, the son of Pantheus, who perished by the hand of a king. Once, a 10-year-old in the siege of Troy. In another, he was Hermonetimus, a prophet from the city of Ionia. Still, he was a humble fisherman. Then there was his life as Aethliades, the son of Mercury, the god of wisdom. In that life, Pythagoras received the gift of remembrance from the god of wisdom himself, giving him access to all the memories of all of his past lives. A powerful gift indeed. Pythagoras also remembered what he had experienced in the celestial realms between the physical lifetimes. I have memory of this, the in-betweens, before I came here. I also have remembrance of different lifetimes too, but not a lot of them, just small glimpses. But nonetheless, I've seen a few. Pythagoras also had experienced the celestial realms between physical lifetimes, and this explains why the Oracle of Delphi had foretold the importance of his birth. The life and the teachings of Pythagoras laid the groundwork for the wisdom teachings of Socrates, Plato, both of whom believed, as he did, in the eternal nature of the soul. The greater spiritual masters understood not only that the structure and the function of the various subtle energy bodies, but also the infrastructure behind the visible and invisible realms. He taught the connection between music, poetry, mathematics, sacred geometry, physics, nature, and the entire structure of the cosmos. To this day, some 2,500 years later, his knowledge has not been surpassed. As a clairvoyant, I know that most of us had had scores of lives here on Earth, and this planet is only one of the many possible worlds in the physical universe, let alone the other dimensions. While the ancient teachings believed in the greater life cycles of most human beings consist of about 800 physical lifetimes, during this time, the human spirit, having passed through hundreds of different races and forms, has extracted from such environments that which requires in the form of instruction and experience. Hall noted, having completed this cycle, the soul then either rests in a superior state until a more advanced chain of worlds is prepared for its future growth. This is what I think I came here to do, is to help create future worlds for future growth and future potential and future expansion of consciousness. So, future growth, or returns again into its inferior world to serve as an instructor to a less developed humanity. As trained past life regressionists in the field of hypnotherapy for over 20 years, I know the power of experiencing one's own personal history firsthand. It can be life-changing. This is true. This is part of the reason why I continue to do readings and healings for people all over the world. The power of understanding our soul's larger journey can be of enormous value in helping us call back our higher awareness, for it explains aspects of who we are at the most fundamental levels that would otherwise not be understood. I will stop there and try to upload. It's been a little challenging to upload lately, so we'll see how this goes, and I hope it comes out okay. And we will pick up with the wisdom of Socrates. And then also, too, I've been getting a lot of information, downloads lately, beautiful information. And I'll read some of that to you now. It won't take too long. Okay. So, God is the source, so now the rats or the stars are going to be reawakened. The serpent wisdom and the activation of the sleeping genes, the inner eye, restoring our vision and remembering who we are. The ones we reach and the ones who reach, the levels of telepathy, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and more. The visions, hearing spirit, we are the ones who will get through the maze. The serpent is the messenger, and I think we are aligning with the ability to perceive God again, to know ourselves through the remembering of our first estate, receiving our true inheritance and the ability to hear God within. It is within us. In the beginning there was love, and as love is eternal, and ever present in all things, love has no beginning and no end. It is the fabric of all things that was and will ever be. Like a heartbeat, as love expands and contracts and starts to create, becoming suns, blazing forth, a blazing source of concentrated love. Then the love was shown forth and sent into darkness. Hence, let there be light. As the love started to pulse and grow, it created out of itself sparks or star fire out of its own light. The light, through its own growth and desire to be love, started to create. The creations were made from the eternal source of all, and all love. As love was expanding and creating, it wanted to know more of itself. And through its desire to know itself, it formed the image of itself. And the image was the miraculous, the love cell. And within this cell, it held the Holy Spirit, or the waters within it. The healing, holy waters, the templates to give forth the images. The stories of the 20th century have been flipped and misconstrued. We have been told to go out when we need to go in. We have been taught that it has always been from the male aspects of creating, when now we know that it is balanced and it is masculine and feminine. We knew we were naked, cast out of the garden, and then we start to wake. We slowly remember who we are. So, Jonah must resurrect himself out of the dream, out of the belly, out of the well. Jonah didn't listen to his intuition. He didn't warn the people. So he was swallowed up by nature itself. And when he agreed to give forth the messages, the whale belched him out of its stomach. And then the ones who were brave enough to see and speak the messages of the divine, we will become the Word made flesh. So the conscious body will become light, and then the body will become the Word. Because abracadabra, I speak, therefore I create. So Jesus was a word, and the word was a genetic code or an instruction. It was a new upgrade to our flesh. This was the activation of the Christos, the anointing, your own activation, the ability to activate your own divinity. This is the ark. This is the reconnection, the connection to remembering that the kingdom of heaven is within you. This was the new light, the new codes, and they are now activating. And these new codes seem to me to be the codes of the revelation, the great revealing who and what you really are, learning and remembering that this is the apocalypse, another time for a great revealing, piercing through the veil, shredding through it, seeing what was not seen before, reconnecting to our divine codes and genes through the desire to seek truth and remember who we are. And through this remembering, we will find gnosis, or knowledge. Know thyself, going from I believe to I know. Gnosis is knowledge. Okay. 13 keeps coming in. The mark of the beast is you, worshiping this world, your flesh. I rely on relying on any religions is the con. It's the trick. You don't need God to save you. God is salvation, and it's already within you. Reconnecting to that which you are is the salvation. It is the key. Be in the world, but not of it. Trust in the divine spark within you. The soul is the only thing to protect in this reality. The virus is somehow connected to the spine and the 7 chakra wheels. They have been manipulated through DNA. They have harnessed our light and placed the control grid within our spine, within the messenger of God. This is how we lost the connection to the true Trinity system and went into the false light of flesh, the chakra system. I used to see a chakra system of 7, now I see 13. We are reconnecting to the true original 12, and that gives you access to the oversoul, or the 13, which is you, or me. So while deeply asleep within the beast system of entropy and death, we cannot even perceive what we truly are. A probability of comprehending God is futile. We have come to know that God's comprehension is beyond our comprehension. Man is one monad, unmovable, unchangeable stillness. Dark matter or antimatter is possibilities, potential, and matrix creation. The bottom line could never be in your awareness a full comprehension of source. We cannot place it within our consciousness. So this means anything that matter can offer you is not. God's kingdom, our true bodies, are never made of blood. They are bone and water and light. Plasma, I see. We are light within our being. Flesh is the test, and it's so real, it is the best. Welcome to the grand illusion, great deception. Okay, so then, let me see where we go next. Okay, Archons. After Wayne's show, this was fun. This has been kind of building as some of the other information is. So, Archon, our child is on. Angel or anglers or angels and angles of soul. So they're showing me the angels are angles of the soul, of the great central soul, the one mind, one conscious, the God, the source, the soul construct. So the genetics were perfect. Noah's Ark. They said Noah was preserved because his genetics were perfect. The seeds, the codes, the genetic, the remembering, the regathering, the recoding, the remembering. It's time to regain and re-put back together the angles from the angels, the angles of the original soul, the anglers or the new world. 144 plus 12 is 156. This is 111 or 3 or Trinity. This is how I see everything was formed from the 12. Then it was multiplied at the 12th power, which brought the 144. So we need to return to the original 12, the original template, the original souls. The new arc or arch or light. We arc the light when we are taught. Laugh, love, and light. Well-being. We are not sick. We are well. We are in the well of being. We are in the Torah field, in the center, in the 0 point, in the manifestation station, knowing how to transmute vibration instantly. Magnetics control the electricity within our brains. When we stay in a happy, positive, peaceful vibration, the brain resonates and attrains to the heart. Through staying in joy and favor, you are actually changing the magnetics and the electrical spark within your mind. Thought, mind, body, food, spark, connection. So through the mind we produce thought. Through the foods we put in our body has a large amount to do with how much we can perceive and receive, How clean is the temple? How clean is the body? The cleaner it is, the easier it sparks, the easier you get connected. Changing the way you think and feel can heal the entire world. I am a lost boy from Never Never Land. Not a physical boy, but a spirit. This is the true body of Pan. Always hanging out with Peter Pan, think the boys got kidnapped, like Persephone. They led them into a sleep, and they woke up not remembering where they came from. Through the dropping down, we forgot what we are. We forgot who we are. We also needed to remember the foundation stone. The foundation stone is you. Peter Pan, Wendy, spirit and soul. Tinkerbell is Christ, and it dies if you don't believe. You must believe in your own inner light, or it will die. Through this remembering and awakening, I remember that we come from a kingdom of the miraculous, a kingdom of thee, a kingdom of we, a community of cooperation. It is time to shed the skin we're in, dropping the masks and revealing what is within. The kingdom of the miraculous, a community of cooperation. Welcome to the miraculous, the miracle of you. Creating a world of magic, here to create a kingdom of above. As above, so below, we build the house and then the world. The new Elysium we create. Feeling the frequency is the frequency. Fleur-de-lis, the flower of light, the creme de la creme, the finest flowers of society. This is what we are to become. I said, oh my, I feel deja vu. And then deja vu, vujade. I see versus I imagine. So flip it around. Deja vu is seeing what you've already created using the matrix and the programs. Vujade is saying, I create with intention, and I am creating from my inner magic instead of the matrix. So it's time to turn on our vision. Start creating from the inside out instead of the outside allowing us to create by reacting. We need to start to create from the inside, not even paying attention to what we see in front of us. Vujade, creating new ways, reforming the molecules, creating the inner vision, the intuition, creating with focus, not repeating. The matrix is given, perception, seeing your own vision. Creating with vision, not letting the reality vision create for you by default. As we learn to speak the divine, we must learn its language in time. It only hears what you feel. What you feel is what manifests into the real. Red light, green light, what do you see? See the green lights in your reality. Then you will manifest them, and so shall it be. We have to consciously start to create. So much love to you guys. I hope you enjoyed the latest that is bursting forth from the intuitive planes that be. And remember, that ye may fulfill that purpose for which ye have entered this experience. And that purpose is that you may know yourself, to be yourself, and yet one with the creative forces of God. I hope you can read that. And then, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Jesus answered them, is it not written in your law? I said, ye are gods. So this is our goal. This is our task. It's to remembering what we come from and who our true parents are. And through starting to remember, your heritage and your lineage and remembering where you come from and what you've already accomplished in so many aspects of what you've already experienced as a soul, this is the key. And these are the keys to truth and wisdom that we are going to discover and find and reawaken within ourselves. So much love to you all. I will talk to you soon and we will read more later. Namaste and have a bliss-filled day.